What is going on, my people? This is Passion for Truth coming at you with a long-awaited video. Sorry, guys. I know it's been like 2 weeks since I've been on here, and my apologies. I will say this, though. It is not for lack of content. It's not for lack of material to talk about. To the contrary, look what the heck is going on in the world today. There's lots to talk about. And that's the problem. Like, what do we talk about? There's so much garbage, so many distractions, so many lies, so much deceit going on in the world. It's hard to find one thing to talk about. So for me, myself, guys, this is my channel, right? I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And here's the thing. With me, I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. Just call me Michu Kaku, right? I'm kind of like that guy. I don't rehearse these things. There might be one thought that comes across my mind and I'm like, I think I want to make a video about that. And then everything else that follows is just coming from my heart. It's just coming from, experience, I guess you could say. So what I'm trying to tell you is, in my videos, you're getting the real me, right? This is just coming straight from my heart, into words. Just sharing these things with my friends here. So, what do I want to talk about? I always come back to Flat Earth, guys, in this truth. And we're not really going to talk about Flat Earth, but we're going to talk about, again, why it's so important, right? Literally, I think I can make a video a day about why it's so important. That's why that question is so tough to really answer. There's no elevator pitch for it, right? There's so many reasons why it's important, and we're going to kind of get into those things. And ultimately, like, what is the mission of a flat earther now, of a truth seeker? What is our mission? Because in my opinion, we've been given this truth by the Creator, and the Creator is using us to lift the veil over the eyes of the normie. Right? We call them normies, the normal people, the people who are still kind of in a funk, so to speak. They're just living their lives like most of us did for so long, with closed minds and just trusting the wrong people, right? Trusting what they're seeing on the TV and trusting what their government's telling them without ever questioning it. They're walking around like zombies. Some of them still are wearing masks. It's freaking been 100 degrees the last couple of days here in VA, and I still see people out here with masks on their face in 100-degree weather. And now, granted, like, most people have taken them off, but we still got those few that are still clinging to this. And I don't know if it's like a pride thing, like, oh, I don't want to be wrong about this, so I'm just gonna continue to wear my mask. And it's wild. It is wild, guys. But a lot of good has come from this, and we're gonna talk about that, right? But ultimately, I'm speaking to, like, the newer flat earther, probably more than anybody else here. Now, granted, even if you're an experienced flat earther, I hate saying it that way. If you've been a flat earther for a while, you'll just probably enjoy this video. You're not going to learn anything new, but maybe you'll enjoy it, what we're talking about here. And I'm sure that you will agree with me. But I want to encourage those of you who are kind of being closet case flat earthers to go out there and talk about this, to bring up this topic with other people. Because what you will find out is that more people are open-minded to this conversation now than ever. Even people that you think might not be. Because of everything that's happening right now. It literally has started opening even the normie's eyes. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, for myself, when I first started diving into this, I didn't want to talk to anybody because I knew that there'd be ridicule. I knew that it would be animosity. I knew it would trigger people. because I know just how important this is. To me, it became really, there never was a question of why it's so important, right? I knew instantly why it was so important. I knew why they would lie. I never had to ask that question. My mind was already open to all that. So I didn't want to start that fight with people. So the only person at the time that I even had mentioned it to was my ex-wife at the time. And that's another story for another time, right? I'm not here to talk about that on this video, maybe for another time. But her and maybe my brother might have been the only people that I ever talked to about this thing, like pretty much 2 weeks into looking at it. Other than that, I didn't talk to anybody. It was probably not until a year to a year and a half later before I really started talking to friends and family about it, to people that I cared about. Because in my mind, I wanted to be well equipped. I wanted to actually know what I was, I wanted to be able to defend myself, number one, but I also wanted to be mentally prepared for the repercussions, the consequences that come from such a topic, right? So I want to encourage you guys, because we're living in a different time now. This is not 5 or 6 years ago, pre-pandemic. 5 or 6 years ago, people were very, very close-minded, right? But after this pandemic, it's opened up a lot of people's eyes, and more people are open-minded to it now than ever. And I find that to be very true. Like people that I talk to at work about it, people that I think are just completely close-minded or just not, ready to hear it. They're not aggressive about it. You know what I mean? You can bring this topic up to people and it doesn't trigger them. Now, I know that there are people that it does, right? Because this topic really does, for the anti-flat earthers out there, for some of the atheists out there, it really is a triggering topic, and you probably want to stay away from those people right out the gate. You're not ready for that battle yet. Okay, you're not ready for that battle yet, but you'll know well ahead of time whether or not who that person is. Well, you'll feel them out, right? And kind of the way to test the waters, and the way that I always test the waters with people, is just ask them about the moon landings, or ask them about the pandemic right now, right? What are the thoughts about it? If they know that there's some suspicious things going on, or if they're very open-minded to listening to what you've got to say on those two topics, then more than likely it's a good time to bring up flat earth. It's a good time to bring up this truth. Other than that, like I said, you'd probably want to be more prepared for the other people who are so triggered by it, right? But let's go on and talk about, what is our mission as flat earthers? Like, why it is so important. And if we're looking around, let's use social media as an example. What is it that normal people are talking about on Facebook? What do you see them posting about? You see them posting about sports. You see them posting about political controversies like the race war, or the gender debate, the Ukraine debate. All this garbage. Maybe they're posting about like what the best movie on Netflix is, or what the best TV show is to binge watch on Netflix. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my entertainment too. I still watch sports occasionally, and I still watch TV shows, and movies. But I watch them with different eyes, right? I watch them from a different perspective now. When I go to watch a movie, I'm looking into it as to, like, what kind of truth am I going to get out of this? What are they hiding in plain sight in this movie or this TV show, right? Flat earthers are all doing that now. We're looking at stuff from a different perspective, all of us. But the normies just going into it strictly for entertainment purposes to basically cope with their misery of the day of working for the man, working for the slave system that they know that they're in and they can't get out of. So they're going to these types of things strictly for entertainment to escape their reality. Whereas we are going in to find reality, right? We're looking for some truth in plain sight. Those are the things that normies are posting on Facebook. But what about flat earthers? What do you see them posting about? Because now I have probably a couple hundred flat earth Facebook friends. And so my timeline is saturated with truth seekers, people who are researching shit and they're coming to their own conclusions and they're sharing it with the world. They're sharing it on social media with people. They're not taking the government's word. They're not taking the media's word as the gospel anymore. They're questioning it because why? Because they have new eyes to see, because they know the level of deception that we're dealing with here. Because if they lied to us about the very nature of the place that we live in, then they're probably lying about everything. Not just some things. They're lying about everything. So maybe we should open our minds. Maybe we should start thinking more critically, start asking the right questions, and research everything that we encounter. Like, for instance, the stuff that's going on right now, like the TX shooting. I'm just going to abbreviate some stuff for you. You guys can figure this stuff out. I don't want to get tossed off of YouTube here, right? The normies are just taking the word for it. Like that, this tragedy happened to a bunch of kids. And they're believing everything that they're seeing the media put out there. Whereas the flat earther is questioning that shit. And we're finding holes in it. We're finding things that just don't add up. And we're sharing it with the world. And that's the same with everything, right? We can talk about the old jibby jabbers, right? I don't know any flat earther that went and got the old jabberoo, because we were looking into that shit. We knew what was going on. In other words, we are now the ones responsible for predicting the future. Because of our research, because of our passion, our new passion for truth. And so I believe in my heart of hearts that it is our mission. I believe that God has put this in our hearts, and He is using us as vessels to spread the news, to spread the truth, to open the eyes, to lift the veil of deceit from the eyes of the normies. That is our mission. And that's why this is so important, guys. That's why this is so important. I know I'm kind of rambling, but I hope this makes sense. And I hope this is encouraging you to want to go out there and share this with other people, because it is important. People need to hear this stuff. Because here's the deal. Who's going to be more prepared when stuff really starts going down? Is it going to be the normie, or is it going to be the flat earther? Is it going to be the closed-minded who listens to everything that the TV's telling them? Takes everything that the government tells them as the gospel? Or is it going to be somebody who's open-minded to all truth, to everything? People who are questioning everything and researching it. Because look what's happened, like, because of this. And I'm not saying that only flat earthers are finding these truths. Only flat earthers are sharing this stuff, because there's a handful of people who haven't come to the flat earth truth that are out there diligently seeking truth, and they're sharing it with people. So please don't get my words twisted here. I'm just saying, for the most part, on my timeline, from my perspective, what I see. I saw most of my normie friends going out there getting the old jibby jab. I saw most of my normie friends out there wearing the mask in 100-degree weather for 2 years. Didn't question it. And until later, they started questioning it. But my flat earth friends, they were fighting it tooth and every step of the way because they knew what was going on. They knew the truth. And what's crazy now is the people who were laughing at us years ago are now starting to see that, hey, maybe these guys aren't so crazy after all, because they did predict this and they did predict that, and look what's happening here, and this shit don't add up here. And, you know, my flat earth friend was telling me this, and man, he was right, or she was right. Holy crap, maybe my flat earth friend isn't so crazy after all. Maybe I should start looking into this stuff. And that, my friend, is why this is so important. Because it's like, it's a domino effect. I call flat earth like the gateway drug to all truths. You can come to certain truths, you know, certain conspiracy theories, like, you know, the one that happened in New York, the one that happened in Boston, the one that happened at the Hook. You know what I'm saying? I got to speak in code here. You can come to one or two of these truths, and you can kind of fall back asleep. And then you get into the whole rhythm of becoming a zombie again, becoming zombified, and your mind goes back to normalcy, so to speak. Your mind goes back into the matrix, and you start blending back in with society. But when you come to the flat earth truth, there's no going back. There's no going back from there. The veil has been lifted, and it's like dominoes. Everything else starts falling into place. It just takes that first domino to set it off. And in my opinion, flat earth is that first domino. So that's why it's important. And it's our mission, in my heart of hearts, to go out there and share this with everybody else. So hopefully this was encouraging to you. If you've been on the fence playing the sideline game for a while, it's now time to talk, man, because time is ticking. Time is ticking, and your friends and your loved ones need to know the truth, whether it hurts them or not, whether it pisses them off or upsets them or not. It did that to all of us at first, and now look at us. If you're like myself, you're not really fearful of anything. You're excited because you have opened eyes, and you can almost predict what's going to happen next, and you're going to be more prepared for what's to come than the normal person. So that's why this is important. Guys, this video has gotten too long, so I want to end it here. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, the little bell, so you get the notifications for my next video. Until then, guys, take care of each other, love one another, keep researching diligently, keep looking for truth, my friends, because you'll find it, and make sure you share it when you do. Till next video, take care, God bless, peace.